All right. There's a lot of new faces on here, a lot of new names. And so I'm the host, I'm Erica Van Eaton, and I'll be playing with you all today. And I do say the word play a lot because healing can be a very deep emotional thing. But if we come at it from a space of play, and that we're going to screw up sometimes, things are going to be hard sometimes. But coming at it from a vibrational foundation of play makes energy move a lot faster. So we got Portugal and Australia and Canada and London. And I think I'm seeing at least 6 different countries on here right now. So that's fun. All right. So today we're going to be playing with Christ consciousness. I wasn't going to do a class before Christmas. Istanbul, hello. I wasn't going to do a class before Christmas, but at the very last minute, what was it, last week when I sent the email out? It just came to me that we needed to play. And so I said, okay. And then I looked at my calendar and I said, I have no time to play. But then the 18th stuck out and I was like, we're going to make it work. Let's do this. So we're going to play. We're going to play with Yeshua. Jesus usually comes in the form to me as Sananda or Yeshua, usually not the term Jesus. Why? Because we have so many religious connotations when it comes to Jesus. So we're going to work through a lot of these today so that we can really expand and embody ourselves. And I think I wrote out in one of the first emails that we feel indebted. We feel indebted for just being created. And we created ourselves. Until we can come into feeling and knowing that we were part of our own creation, that we chose this, there's always going to feel a little bit of disconnect and like we aren't enough in some way. We have to come to that space of knowingness. And it's something that for me, it has to be felt. If I can't feel it, it doesn't really make it tangible to me. For some people, it's very hard to feel. So can you just come into a place of knowing? But there has to be some place within you that can recognize that, okay, this could be true for me. So today is going to be about feeling. It's going to be about coming home, and we are going to be releasing some words from their meaning that humanity has assigned to them and gift it something different that feels a lot more expansive. British Columbia, Germany, hello. Okay, so let's begin with the breath. So come home, close your eyes, and take a deep breath in. As you're getting settled into your chair or whatever you're sitting on, feel where you're touching and connecting to the furniture that you're sitting on or laying down on. Feel your back being supported, feel your buns being supported, or feel the floor underneath your feet. Realizing there's structure there designed to support you. So in this moment, if we can't get to any other space, right now, you're being supported. You have support always. And sometimes it's finding the smallest bit of evidence that we're being supported that can ground us and help us feel safe and home. For those of you who are newer to my work, I come in and out of channeling, and there's going to be a lot of energy running through my voice. There's a collective of beings here with us today, led by Sananda. We're going to be channeling a lot of energy, bringing you back home to your physical body, back home to your heart. So as I talk, if you nod off, it's okay. The replay will come out. We're just settling and beginning to attune your fields now. So just continue to breathe. Feel the support that you have around you, under you. Lean back into it a little more. Down into it a little more. Pretend that your support, the chair or the bed or the couch or the floor that you're on, is beginning to sink through the mud down into the earth. Allow yourself to sink down into the earth, starting to feel the cold mud underneath of you. Or maybe it's warm, but it's cool to the touch. It feels a little gritty as you sink down into the mud. But notice you don't just fall. There's support. You're being held. You're being supported. Always. Now we're going to allow the earth to come up and greet you. The soul of who she is starting to beam up to you like a bright sunshine, smiling. And she's so grateful to have us all here today to play with us. So allow her to come up further. We're going to allow her energy to come up your feet, up your ankles, up your calves, into your knees and your thighs, your hips, into your abdomen, coming up your spine, opening up your chest, into your shoulders, down your arms, filling in your elbows and your wrists, your hands, and coming out the palms of your hands, up into the throat, and on up into the head. Opening up the crown of the head and allowing this beautiful light to come up through you, up through the ring of light that's above your head, your star chakra. To me, always looks like a halo. Go up through your halo, up into the clouds. Up into the stars, and continue to go up. As we continue to move our energy up through the different dimensional realms, and that's what we're doing. We're changing dimensional planes. We always give a visualization of going up, but it's really going down, it's going forward, it's going back. The energy expands in 360-degree fashion. It's not a linear up and down motion, but we give the linear up and down motion because it's something easy for the mind to follow. We can follow a ruler, we can follow a line. So as we imagine this going up, this energy going up through all these different layers, it also keeps our attention focused. So we are going up through all these different layers. Now what you're going to begin to notice as we continue to expand is that it comes to a point where it gets a little bit thicker. There's this field that gets a little bit thicker. It almost has a jelly-like appearance to it or feel to it. It's almost like you got to poke through it to get through it. Within that field that's a little thicker are a bunch of different sacred geometry shapes. You might see different colors, you might see different shapes, you might see nothing, you might not feel anything. You might just know that that's where we're headed and that's where you need to go through. Allow that sense of knowing, allow that sense of what you need to do to get through that, and go ahead and go on through that field of energy. And we're going to keep going up. Right before we get to source, pure source energy, there's different planetary systems. There's an angelic planetary system. There's the Elohim. There's others, all right there we don't just bypass those, we actually connect into those, become part of those before we reach into pure source energy. It's not that we're ever disconnected. We're always connected to all these different realms. It's just placing our awareness there. How we place our awareness there is by diverting our focus. So we gave you the instance of a linear line. You could picture that line in your body actually being a vertical line as well. Allow that line to go up. So now we can imagine the top point, and we can imagine the point like at our belly button. That's called diverting your focus. We shift that focus, we slow down your brain waves, we can reach a different dimensional plane because we took the energy from the outside of your brain to the inside of your brain. So we reached a different dimensional level. Now we keep doing that over and over again by expanding, by placing our awareness outside of ourselves. We're releasing the 5 physical senses and we're moving into our 6 senses, our psychic senses, by just placing our awareness somewhere else outside of us. So allow your awareness to continue to go up. And now we're going to go up one more time. Into a field of white. And take a breath. Now I'm feeling some sadness come up for some of you. It's a deep-rooted sadness that's not really well understood. And the sadness is that we've been told our whole lives that this is something that's outside of us, that this God formation is something that's outside of us, that we have to die to reach it, to see it, to know it, that we have to ascend as a person, as a planet, to be able to have access to more of it. And it's simply not true. If you can imagine this, a massive field of white energy, like a cloud, and it's in a field of black. It has intelligence and it's pure love. There was a point in time when it wanted to expand more and experience more, but there was nothing but blackness. It came into contact with black matter and Christ consciousness was birthed. There was an explosion. And it felt amazing because it was an expansion. It was something that was unexpected. We loved it. And then we decided, why not birth more from Christ consciousness and experience even more individualized experiences as souls? We chose it. And we said, okay, and we said yes. So then we decided to birth ourselves. And form our souls. And play. And we started all these beautiful creations. And we got bored. And we decided to play some more. And we got bored and we decided to play some more. And we got bored and we decided to play some more. We came to Earth and we forgot. We forgot that we were playing. There were those like Jesus that came to Earth to help us remember. Buddha to help us remember. to ignite little sparks of remembering that we were just playing here. Then there were things written like the Bible, full of words like sin. The original intention of the word was to encapsulate what it means not to play and expand. So when we are experiencing incoherencies that come from shame, from guilt, from fear, from lack, those frequencies, because the molecules of energy within those frequencies are colliding against each other, they don't allow us to expand to greater levels of fields to play in. We are constricted. It's not good or bad or right or wrong. It's just constriction or stagnation. And we called it sin. And we thought we were bad or wrong or not accepted, when really we just were forgetting that we needed to play a little bit bigger. So take a breath. We're unzipping the back of everyone's energy fields and we're opening them up a little bit bigger, allowing more energy to come in. Take another big breath. There's another big wave of energy coming in. Jesus is coming in to stand right in front of you. He's placing his hand on your heart. And what he's saying is, you created me. Gamani sisha gadaromana siharatanisha sisubedira dejashkamani si didura shakasi gidninana. You decided upon our creation. Shoganani si nahara bashokare didi si ni shakurabinini. Nana sahata boshakasa nandinaman hadashai siti ni sikbofoba sagaragati si. Take another breath. I want you to say to yourself, I was the creator and the created. And where does it feel tight? Where do you feel it? I was the creator and the created. You feel that? I was the creator and the created. I am indebted to no one. I don't have to do a damn thing. I created myself. All I did was create myself to play. When I got stuck in the pain, I forgot to play. That was my sin. That was my constriction. Not good, bad, right, wrong. I just wasn't playing. So whatever wants to come through me can come through me. I'm the creator and the created. Good. Take another big breath in. Now, when you say that, you can write in the group chat if you're feeling restriction anywhere. A lot of it hit behind the heart and deep in the belly. Jesus is still bringing a lot of energy right in, straight through the heart space. If you look into the heart, if you want to play, as he reaches into your heart, all I see is the cosmos. Look inside, and all I see is black, open space. Now, if we ask you how you created yourself, oh, the stomach just got tight. So let's go back to the first part of the call where we took ourselves up into pure source consciousness, this field of white that was sitting in black space. That is your origin point. You decided from this space to create more. You decided from this space to take an aspect of this space and birth yourself into that aspect of God. You birthed yourself. Coming in a little bit more. Good. Walk through the visualization again. We're in this field of white. Outside of this field of white is just black, empty space. You decide to play more. Imagine taking a handful of this white cloud that is pure source and pulling it apart from that white cloud into the black open space. There's still a stream of energy that connects you to pure source, to that big white cloud. But now you're this individualized aspect. You look inside yourself and you see, oh, I grabbed these codes of light. These particular codes of light are who I am now. My job that I chose when I birthed myself is to see how these codes of light play with everything else and to see how big and expansive I can make these codes of light. So you play on all different planets and all different shapes and all different forms. And how does it feel? Knowing that you can't screw it up. You can't mess it up. No matter how you're playing, you didn't do it wrong. You didn't. You're just experiencing it. So as we decode the word sin, bad, evil, not enough, we come back to the image of the white cloud, knowing that we birth ourselves. We are a creator and we created ourselves. So we are the creator and the created. We came here to play. We came here to expand. Sometimes we're in a state of hibernation, of rearranging, of healing. And then we move through it and we explode out our codes of light and we get even bigger. The only time we're not playing is when we stay stuck. When we don't move through a pattern. Or when we do stay in fear. Because we think we're going to do it wrong. Okay, so take a big breath in. And when you're ready, you can come back home, begin to open your eyes. Let me know how you feel. Big fat hairy release. Yes, it was. Pretty much sums it up. Yeah. It was a big releasing, especially in the solar plexus. It's a space of empowerment. Feeling grounded in light. Yes. It is a space of empowerment when we continue to feel, and it's very subconscious. It's so subconscious that we feel indebted to God. That we feel indebted to the angels even, or that because they're helping us, or that we feel indebted to Jesus or Buddha, or even feeling indebted to the earth. No, this is a co-creation. We are the creator and the created at the same time. Lily stayed awake. This is a good thing. Normally I knock her out. You know, I love this comment about a couple of nights ago. I had a dream about thorns. And when we think about Christianity and we're getting ready to celebrate Christmas and the idea of Jesus with thorns around his head, of course, we're removing those. This is the perfect time. Good job. Feel opening expansion in the heart. Beautiful. Challenge to let go of constricted friends. It's sad and I'm free to expand, of course. So I think you all guys all got the concept, but I'll still draw a little something here. And this is why we're never done. We can think that we're going to get to this enlightened point and then we're never going to feel constricted again. Well, that's bullshit. It's just not going to happen. And here's why. Okay. I mean, I would love that. That'd be fantastic. But then guess what? We would get bored. So these are your source energy codes, like right in here. We expand, we stay there for a while. And then what? We start to feel tight. Something comes up to make us expand again. Either we choose to do it from a state of play, or we do it from a state of pain. It's our choice. We always choose. Unfortunately, here on Earth, we have played with a lot of pain. And again, those can give us big explosions when we move through it. It really can catapult us into these outside layers. But imagine if you're in a state of play and you choose to continue to expand from there. Well, then you're expanding from this other realm and you're expanding so much further out because your foundation can support it. So our work here is to change our foundational structure, our core codes of light, not your source energy codes, but the codes that are deeply wound into and woven into your foundational structures, meaning the minds throughout the systems, the energy that your cells are addicted to. We're changing those foundations so that we can, instead of having to go through pain and like catapulters way out here, we can just start out here and we can continue expanding from there. Why? Because we already played with pain. We've already done it. It's not to say that we're not going to feel pain, because even if we're playing and we're feeling really good, but we forget to play bigger, that's going to start to feel tight. It's going to start to feel uncomfortable too, because it's time to expand again. So no matter where we are at along our spiritual journey, our levels of consciousness, there's going to feel times when we're tight, and it doesn't mean we've done anything wrong. It just means that it's time to expand again. It's time to push ourselves into something uncomfortable to do something new. That doesn't mean that it has to be this big thing where I'm standing with a microphone speaking to 100,000 people in light language. No, we don't have to do that. It can be as simple as like picking up a book and learning about a new concept. It's about expanding in some way always and choosing to continue to move. And instead of like us being dragged and pushed and pulled like we've been in the past, we can do it a little bit more gracefully of, okay, I'm going to step into this a little bit smoother. It's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. And you know what? There's going to probably be fear. Even if we're playing in a state of play and it's starting to feel a little tight and we're like, okay, it's time to move into something different. I know what it is, but I don't know what it is. I'm a little scared. That scare's on point. Thank you, fear. Thank you for showing me that, you know what, it's time to push past this and go into something different. So when we are healing from a holistic perspective, we are not pushing out our egos or our mind. We're not pushing out our shadow energy of fear or guilt or shame or those things. We're recognizing that there's another side to those that we need to work through that will give us an expansion. And we take these human parts of us with us to play bigger. Fear is going to be there. Fear is a gift. Fear allows me to know where I need to go next. Fear is something that I actually really enjoy. I mean, I don't at all, but I do on the other side of it. You know what I mean? So use these things that we are given, because we are the creator and the created. We created fear. We created anger. We created jealousy. We created shame. And we're also creating and playing in it. So we're the creator and the created. You're the alpha and the omega. You're it all. We decided. So if we embody that, then we can look at words, any word in our human literature. But shame and sin is such a big one, because it just keeps us locked in shame. And it's the original intent of sin wasn't like that. It was saying, no, we're in a place of constriction. It's time to move past that. So let's rearrange, uncreate, clear everything that sin has meant for us and allow it to be something more expansive. So Lily wondered if constriction and expansion go hand in hand. It could, and it does, and it can, but it doesn't have to be in the way we were thinking about it. So now when we think about constriction, Instead of thinking about it coming from a pain point, it can just come from a place of, nope, it's just time to grow. It's just time to grow. The problem has been in the past when we don't have our ego and mind on board. Here's where the true issue is. When our ego and our mind are in disconnect and are not in communication with our spirit, when we reach a place of constriction, they start to make up stories and spin stories as to why we feel constricted. We are disassociating, disassembling, and that's why the core of my work is we have to have our team, and by our team, I mean our whole human container on board for this, so that we can expand and that there's open communication. So when we experience, let's say, jealousy or anger, we ask ourselves, how can I expand from this? Or what can I learn from this? Sometimes it's a matter of, how do I need to change my perspective? And I think the reason why Jesus just had me say that, I was like, what? Okay. I say that a lot, but I was like, okay, give me something more. So he's saying, let's change our perspective because we've been caught in the lessons. We've been through therapies. We've been down like, I need to learn this lesson, this lesson, this lesson. We get caught in the lessons. Let's move beyond the lesson and let's just shift our perspective. Okay, I'm going to divert my focus. I'm going to expand out and I'm going to make this thing that I'm feeling really small. And we can do that right now. I want you to take one thing that just irritates the living crap out of you, something that you want to shift, something that you want to change. And you're like, if this one thing would shift, okay? So I want you to just put a box around it. Now take a step back from the box. I want you to feel the room behind you. I want you to feel the space between your back and the back wall. I want you to feel the space between your stomach and the front wall. I want you to feel the space from your sides and the side walls. And I want you to expand out again. I want you to go outside and feel outside around the building you're in. Now I want you to feel the space between you and the next country. I want you to feel the space between you and moving outside of the earth. I want you to feel the space between you and the moon, between you and the sun. Now, from this space, I want you to look back in on this one little problem. Not go into it, just see it in a box. And it's so small. The energy of it is so small. Good. And this is where you can gain a different perspective because you're playing in a different dimensional field. If we don't play in a different dimensional field, then the level of consciousness, the level of understanding about that situation and what it's going to take to change that situation can't really be seen. So we have to shift the dimensional field where we're playing in. And a dimension, again, is just a range of frequencies. But those range of frequencies are playing a song. They're playing notes, they're playing tunes, they're playing music. That music allows us to tune into something different. But we can't hear the song if we can't play in, if our attention, if our awareness is not in that field. Right? So if we're playing in the same dimensional field as the problem is in, then we're not going to see the answer. We're not going to see a different way of moving through it because we're in the same zone as it. We need to be in a different zone. It's not bypassing, it's expanding. Somebody's consciousness just says that's spiritual bypassing. It's not spiritual bypassing. We're just moving into a different zone so that we can understand it from a different perspective, or what we need to do to shift it, to move through it. Okay. So now place your hand on your heart. And say, I am. I am. And put your hand on your stomach, because as I say I am, your stomachs are getting tight. I am. I am the creator and the created. And I get to play. And now Jesus is coming to put his white robe of light all around you. He's anointing you with gratitude. Gratitude that you created him. Gratitude that he lives through you, with you, as Christ consciousness. And you can send the gratitude back and the love back to him. Okay. And when you're ready, you can come back. Or if you just want to stay in this space, you can stay in this space. But I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting me with your time and your energy today. And it was so wonderful to see your faces. I genuinely appreciate everyone here and who's going to listen to the replay. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So much love and light to you all, and have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season, right?